Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. A seismic tremor has emanated from Ankara, not from the earth, but from a tectonic shift in global diplomacy. The Turkish capital, long a symbol of stability at the crossroads of continents, has become the epicenter of a new global realignment. In the corridors of power, whispers have turned into headlines, and the world is watching with bated breath. Turkey, a NATO cornerstone for over 70 years, is now openly seeking to join the BRICS bloc. This move is not just a diplomatic maneuver, it's a bold declaration that Turkey is ready to redefine its alliances and its place in the world. The implications ripple far beyond Ankara, sending shockwaves through both Western and Eastern capitals. This is not a mere diplomatic flirtation, it signals the fracturing of the post-Cold War order. The old certainties that shaped international relations for decades are dissolving, replaced by a landscape where allegiances are fluid and the rules are being rewritten in real time. The world is being remade before our eyes, with nations once firmly in one camp now charting unpredictable courses. Alliances that seemed unbreakable are now in flux, and new partnerships are emerging from unexpected quarters. The global chessboard is being reset, piece by piece. President Erdogan's move is more than a policy shift. It's a symptom of a deeper transformation. His leadership reflects a nation searching for greater autonomy and influence, determined to shape its own destiny rather than follow a script written elsewhere. The rise of BRICS offers countries like Turkey a future less constrained by Western criteria and more aligned with the aspirations of the global South. For many, it represents a chance to break free from old hierarchies and forge new economic and political pathways, driven by shared interests and mutual respect. A NATO member embracing a bloc with Russia and China would have been unthinkable a decade ago. Today, it's reality. The boundaries between friend and rival are blurring, and the consequences for global security and cooperation are profound. In this chapter, we'll explore the forces behind Turkey's dramatic pivot, the motivations driving its leaders, and the far-reaching impact on global power dynamics. As the world enters a new, uncertain international order, the choices made today will echo for generations to come. To grasp Turkey's shift, we must understand the starkly different philosophies of the EU and BRICS. The EU is a rules-based project demanding deep legislative and political harmonization, built on democracy, rule of law, and shared liberal values. Membership requires years of reform and convergence. BRICS, by contrast, is pragmatic and diverse, welcoming democracies and autocracies alike, united by a desire to challenge Western dominance. Its focus is geoeconomic trade, alternative finance, and reducing reliance on the US dollar. The EU demands transformation. BRICS offers strategic accommodation. Turkey, after decades of EU reforms, now eyes a bloc that doesn't require internal change. This is the essential choice that we're over this inside Sander Udron. Andar that sun in Saudi den Saberdam and the Berbide. Steep integration with the West, or flexible alignment with a rising, multipolar coalition. Turkey's EU journey began with hope, the 1963 Ankara Agreement, and decades as a vital NATO partner. EU membership drove sweeping reforms, economic growth, and a sense of belonging to the West. The high point came in 2005 with formal accession talks, but optimism soon faded. Negotiations stalled over issues like Cyprus, skepticism from France and Germany, and concerns about Turkey's democratic backsliding. As EU doors closed, incentives for reform waned, and Ankara accused Brussels of double standards. The process became a symbol of European exclusivity and Turkish frustration. By the 2020s, accession talks were frozen, leaving Turkey in limbo, still a candidate, but with no real prospect of joining. This saga of unfulfilled promise is the backdrop to Ankara's current pivot. Turkey is now seeking new horizons after decades of waiting at Europe's door. As Turkey's EU hopes faded, BRICS was transforming. The 2024 Kazan summit saw Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE join, consolidating key Middle Eastern and African players. In 2025, Indonesia joined, swelling BRICS Plus to 10 members. The bloc now represents 45% of the world's population, and over a third of global GDP. With new energy powerhouses, BRICS gained leverage in global markets. The expansion was a deliberate move to counter Western-dominated institutions and amplify calls for global governance reform. BRICS is building its own financial architecture, reducing reliance on the US dollar and offering alternatives like the new development bank. For Turkey, BRICS offers economic sovereignty, and a way to diversify away from Western pressure. As BRICS unified, the Western alliance fractured. The US imposed sweeping tariffs on the EU, Japan, and South Korea in 2025, testing transatlantic solidarity. Instead of uniting, each ally cut its own deal with Washington, exposing deep divisions. This disunity contrasted sharply with BRICS' expanding cohesion. The West's inability to present a united front undermined its value proposition. For Turkey, this fragmentation justifies its strategic pivot eastward. Old loyalties no longer guarantee security or prosperity. The vacuum left by the West is one BRICS is eager to fill. Amid a rising BRICS and a fractured West, Turkey's intent is clear. The world is witnessing a significant shift in global alliances, and Turkey is positioning itself at the crossroads of East and West, determined to maximize its influence and options. As the global order becomes more multipolar, Ankara is recalibrating its foreign policy to reflect new realities and opportunities. Foreign Minister Fidan frames the move as pragmatic, not ideological. The EU remains our first choice, but we must diversify. This statement underscores Turkey's desire to keep doors open with Europe, while also signaling a readiness to explore new partnerships. For Ankara, it's about hedging bets and ensuring the country is not left vulnerable in a rapidly changing world. President Erdogan laments decades of stalled EU talks, declaring, "We will now go where we are welcomed." His words reflect a growing frustration with the West's reluctance to fully embrace Turkey, and a willingness to seek out new alliances that offer respect and tangible benefits. Turkey is actively lobbying BRICS members, with Russia and China supportive, and others recognizing Turkey's strategic value. Ankara is leveraging its unique geographic and economic position to present itself as an indispensable partner for both East and West, hoping to secure a seat at the table of emerging powers. Brussels and Washington warn that BRICS membership is incompatible with EU accession and NATO obligations. Western leaders have voiced concerns that Turkey's eastward pivot could undermine decades of cooperation and shared security interests, raising questions about Ankara's long-term commitments. Yet, Ankara seems undeterred, determined to pursue a multi-aligned foreign policy. Turkish officials argue that in a world of shifting alliances, flexibility is key to safeguarding national interests and maintaining regional influence. The messaging is crafted for both domestic and international audiences. Turkey is not abandoning allies, but seeking respect and opportunity. By emphasizing sovereignty and independence, Ankara aims to reassure its citizens while projecting confidence to the world. No formal BRICS invitation has been extended yet, but Turkey is a top aspirant. The government is making its case, highlighting the mutual benefits of Turkish membership and the potential to bridge divides between continents. The government is building consensus among BRICS members for its candidacy. Behind closed doors, Turkish diplomats are working tirelessly to secure support, emphasizing Turkey's economic clout and regional leadership. Western warnings are falling on deaf ears in Ankara. The Turkish leadership appears resolute, convinced that a more independent path will yield greater rewards in the long run. Turkey is forging ahead, convinced its future lies in a more balanced global role, one that is not defined by old alliances, but by new opportunities and a pragmatic vision for the 21st century. Turkey's BRICS bid is a high-stakes gamble, offering new trade, investment, and finance, but with real risks. The new development bank promises funding without Western strings, appealing to Ankara's ambitions. BRICS membership could diversify Turkey's export markets and reduce reliance on the EU. But the EU remains Turkey's top economic partner. A pivot east could jeopardize vital trade and investment. Brussels could suspend the customs union or impose barriers, devastating Turkey's economy. BRICS is diverse and competitive. Turkey would face tough rivals like China and India. There's also the risk of swapping Western dependency for reliance on Russia and China. The choice is not simple. It's a delicate balancing act between growth and disruption. Turkey must weigh unprecedented opportunity against the risk of catastrophic economic fallout. Turkey joining BRICS would send shockwaves through global geopolitics. For NATO, it's an unprecedented crisis. A key member aligning with rivals challenges alliance cohesion. The EU would see it as a strategic failure, proof of its inability to integrate its periphery. Globally, it would mark a shift toward a multipolar order, emboldening other middle powers to seek autonomy. The clear lines between US-led and rival blocs would blur. BRICS would gain credibility as a genuine alternative pole of power. The balance of power would be visibly altered, perhaps permanently. Experts see this as the new reality, nations picking alignments a la carte, not by ideology. The era of rigid blocs is over. Welcome to a fluid, unpredictable geopolitical marketplace. We stand on the edge of a new era. Turkey's BRICS pivot is a sign of global restructuring. The world as we knew it is being redrawn, not just on paper, but in the very alliances and ambitions of nations. Turkey's move is more than a diplomatic gesture. It's a signal that the established order is being questioned, and new possibilities are emerging. The old maps are gone. The world is now multipolar, with nations forging their own paths. No longer is there a single center of gravity. Power is distributed, and influence is up for grabs. Countries are reimagining their roles, seeking new partners, and challenging the status quo. This is not a future scenario, it's happening now. Every headline, every summit, every handshake is a piece of this unfolding story. The pace of change is accelerating, and the consequences are real and immediate. The expansion of BRICS and Western strains have created a new marketplace of allegiances. Nations are weighing their options, balancing old loyalties with new opportunities, and the global chessboard is being reset. Nations want a greater voice, and are building new platforms to maximize leverage. From economic forums to security alliances, countries are asserting their interests and demanding a seat at the table. The desire for agency is reshaping the rules of engagement. The West must adapt, proving its value through partnership, not demands. Collaboration, respect, and mutual benefit are the new currencies of influence. Only by listening and engaging can the West remain relevant in this shifting landscape. The future of this new order is unwritten. Will BRICS become a rival bloc, or a bridge? The answer is not predetermined. It will be shaped by dialogue, compromise, and vision. The choices made today will echo for generations. The answer depends on choices made in Ankara, Moscow, Beijing, Brussels, and Washington. Each capital holds a piece of the puzzle, and their decisions will determine whether the world moves toward rivalry or cooperation. The tectonic plates of power are shifting, and the world that emerges will be shaped by today's actions. We are witnessing a rare moment in history, where the foundations of global order are being reimagined before our eyes. This is a call to reflection and engagement. The debate over the new world order belongs to all of us. Whether in government halls or public squares, the future will be written by those who choose to participate, question, and shape the world they want to see.